Imagine for a second that you're a British sailor. It's 1805 and the wooden beams of your ship are creaking loudly as the wind carries you and your crew of 800 to the Battle of Trafalgar. The conditions are cramped. There's a high chance you have scurvy. But you do remain confident of the battle ahead. You're sailing on one of the most advanced ships the world has ever seen. Now, imagine showing that same sailor this clip. It's a Ukrainian FPV drone striking a Russian Pantsir anti-aircraft missile system in the Kherson region of Ukraine. And what makes this clip stand out is that the drone was reportedly launched from a USV, or unmanned surface vessel. It's the first time we've seen this capability in action, and marks a new era in naval warfare. Unmanned vessels launching unmanned aircraft to strike deep behind enemy lines. So how did we get here, and what could be next?
Advanced laser weapons.
Developments in naval warfare are moving fast, and different conflicts around the world are driving the advances in technology to meet unique operational requirements. And the tech isn't exclusive to militaries. Drug cartels were quick to jump on board with this emerging technology as far back as 2021, using unmanned surface vessels to transport narcotics undetected across oceans. The US Coast Guard is onto them, and they're deploying more and more unmanned vessels themselves to counter. We've seen the Houthis deploy them against both commercial and military targets in the Red Sea, at times straining global shipping lanes. One of the main advantages USVs offer, other than keeping human personnel out of harm's way, is the increased range that they can strike at. With no crew on board, there's no need to plan fuel for a return journey. This has enabled a huge leap in range advantage, creating a new threat that adversaries are quickly scrambling to protect themselves from. Ukraine, it could be argued, is having the most success with USVs. So let's take a closer look at what they're using, how they're using them, and the effect that they've yielded so far. Looking back to 2022 and the start of the war in Ukraine, the outlook was bleak on many fronts, not least of all the naval side of things. Russia's Black Sea Fleet quickly rendered Ukraine's small navy inoperative and could sail almost unimpeded across Ukraine's coast, all the way to Odessa. This all changed when Ukraine struck the flagship of Russia's Black Sea Fleet, the Moskva, with their homegrown Neptune missiles. The wreck has now officially been declared an underwater cultural heritage site, with the sinking of the Moskva both a blow to Russian pride and a turning point in the sea battle. As Russia withdrew forces from Snake Island and pivoted their navy further east, an uptick in the use of USVs in the Black Sea can be observed. Brucey says it's not just ships being sunk that has had a tangible impact. The unsuccessful attacks and the mere threat of attack have also contributed. The Russian Navy has moved almost all its major assets to the port of Novorossiysk on the eastern coast of the Black Sea, rerouted its Syrian Express supply lines to no longer use the Black Sea, and generally minimize patrolling. There's reports of dozens of different types of USVs being either operated or developed by Ukraine, but there's two in particular that are grabbing all the headlines. The first is the Magura V5. With a range of 800 kilometers and the ability to reach speeds of 80 kilometers an hour, add to this anti-air capabilities and it's become a problem for Russia. It's responsible for a few notable kills. On New Year's Eve of 2024, this clip of a Magura V5 claims to show the downing of a Russian Mi-8 helicopter and damaging a second. If the reports are accurate, this would mark the first time a USV has ever downed an enemy aircraft. The second notable USV in operation by Ukraine is the Sea Baby. This one can carry an explosive warhead of up to 850 kilograms or 6 RPG-16 thermobaric grenade launchers. With an operational range of up to 1,000 kilometers, it was an obvious choice when Ukraine set its sights on the Kerch Bridge. Perhaps what's most remarkable is the rate at which innovation is progressing on USVs in Ukraine. Let's take the Magura V5 as an example. It went from a prototype in November 2022 to its first operational kills, 2 Russian landing craft in the port of Chornomorsk just a year after its conception. When we're used to defense procurement taking decades in peacetime, Ukraine's need for new weapons now has accelerated advances at a rate that's proving difficult for onlookers and adversaries to keep up with. Like all weapon systems, USVs are not without their drawbacks, with most platforms still vulnerable to air attack and heavily reliant on Starlink and other satellites to stay operational. It means this new phase of the war, with dwindling American support, could require yet more developments to keep USVs functional and, crucially, hitting targets.
Joe Cowan, BFBS Forces News.
Thanks for watching. For more from BFBS Forces News, like and subscribe to our channel.